15 reasons why I believe that narcissistic personality disorder is not just a mental illness, but it is spiritual in nature. Now, reason number one why I believe that narcissistic personality disorder is spiritual in nature is that they all lie. All the narcissists that I have had a relationship with, some of them have been romantic, some of them have just been friendship, but every single one of those people lied to me. And they didn't just lie to me, but they lie to everybody. They even lie to one another. They can be friends with one another, it doesn't matter, they lie to one another. And they lie really well. They are professional liars. They have perfected the art of lying. So my conclusion is, and if you know anything about the Word of God, then you will know to whom the Word of God classifies as the father of the lies. That is my first reason why I believe they are influenced by something dark, not just a plain good old personality disorder or mental illness. The second reason why I believe that narcissistic personality disorder has a very big spiritual component is that these people seem to have some sort of a split personality or a alternate personality. You would get what I would call the normal personality, the normal everyday person that you used to interacting with, the person that you talk to, the person that you are in a relationship with, the person that you actually like or maybe even love. And then you will come across this other personality. And this personality is like nothing you have ever seen. This is what I would classify as the evil personality. And this switch that gets made between one personality and the other is instantaneous. It can happen within a split second. You could be, for example, at this person's house and talking to this person, having, a normal conversation, cracking some jokes, talking about non-serious things, nothing deep, nothing serious, not dealing with any heavy emotional issues or anything like that. And all of a sudden, in an instant, this other person comes out. And you will be absolutely shocked and disturbed, sometimes dumbfounded. It is literally like going to, the movies and seeing a movie where this person goes from being normal in an instant to being something very not what I would call normal. Something disturbing, something shocking, something evil and ugly, abusive, sadistic, nasty, and the words that come out of this person's mouth is totally disconnected to the character of this person that you actually think that you know. And it's not, most of the time it's words, but sometimes it's even actions that will leave you dumbfounded. It'll leave you shocked. It'll leave you absolutely feeling like you're in a circus sort of display of some sort of what is just going on here. This is I do not understand how this thing links to that thing. Most of the time as well, it's unprovoked, It's unprovoked. Most of the time, you won't be able to go, oh, I said something wrong to this person, or I did something wrong, or I, touched on a sore spot in this person, some emotional issue or something like that. Most of the time, there's none of that. Most of the time, you could be having a meal at this person's house, just having a normal Saturday afternoon, talking about, life and, everyday little happenings, and all of a sudden, this person switches and turns into, turns from Dr. Jekyll into Mr. Hyde or something like that. It's and what I find interesting is that the one personality does not seem to be, or supposedly is not aware of the other. And from what little I know and what little I can tell, it seems that this might be legitimate, in the sense that this person from one minute to the next does not know what they have done, what they've said, what has come out of their mouths. You will, for example, let's say you fall into the situation where this person flips into this ulterior or alternate personality. And let's say terrible things get said, maybe even something terrible gets done, and you leave. The next day, that person will call you as if nothing had happened. They will not be seemingly aware of what happened the previous day. They will be confused or unsure or sort of, a little bit irritated with you as to why you are now extremely hurt, extremely disturbed, and not wanting really to interact with them at all. It will confuse them, supposedly, as if they were not aware of what this other personality has done and said. And as I said, it's usually the most terrible, shocking, disgusting, vile falsities. It is just filth that comes out of the mouth, and its purpose is to hurt you. And this person will have no recollection of what happened the previous day, as if, they have had complete amnesia of the situation. Whether it's legitimate or not, I am not sure, but it seems to be legitimate. There is something that is abnormal about narcissistic personality disorder, in the sense that it is not just a garden variety mental illness or personality disorder. There's something else going on there which points to me to the spiritual realm. The third reason why I believe narcissistic personality disorder has a spiritual component is that these people get great pleasure in deception. They actually enjoy deceiving people. They enjoy planning harm upon other human beings. They get pleasure in the planning of and in the execution of the destruction of another human being. it's not done in an attempt to protect themselves or in an attempt to, sort of as a form of retaliation. It is a pleasure-seeking experience. And these people will, if they have a chance in which they can deceive you in an attempt to usually give themselves a one-up on some sort of bar. And that bar could be the social ladder. It could be the bar on a financial ladder, on a social economic ladder. It could be a bar in terms of feeling superior or more powerful or in control of this person, or making that person feel like they have no control. If they see an opportunity where they can do that to another human being, they will take it, and they will do it, and they will exploit that opportunity. They will plan it meticulously, and while they plan that person's destruction, they will celebrate. They will celebrate it. They will enjoy it, they will celebrate it, they will party, they will eat, they will drink, they will laugh, they will get great glee and happiness from planning the destruction of another human being. It does not matter to them how much damage they will do to that person. It does not matter what kind of destruction they will leave in their wake. It does not matter whether they will permanently impoverish that person, or permanently emotionally scar that person, or whether they will permanently and irreversibly physically harm them. That does not matter to them. In fact, the more harm done, the better, because they like to obliterate, if I could use that English word. What is obliterate? Obliterate is to completely destroy. They don't like to leave survivors. They don't like to take prisoners. They want to literally annihilate you if they see you as a way for them to get one notch up on whatever scale it is that they feel that they will be one notch up on if they destroy you. And as I mentioned, there will be pleasure involved, great pleasure involved for them in the planning of your annihilation. That to me doesn't just talk about mental illness, that doesn't just talk to me about a personality disorder. That's starting to lean to me heavily into the realm of the spiritual, especially the dark spiritual side of things. Reason number 4, why I believe narcissistic personality disorder is spiritual in nature, not something organic, personality related exclusively. And that reason is that they cheat on their friends and partners and feel zero shame or remorse. Nothing. Okay? It does not they do not see the destruction of friendships or relationships as something bad. That, in fact, the thought that them cheating on you with another person is bad. That thought there that I've just stated, that sentence, me cheating on you with this person is bad. That sentence, that statement, doesn't even seem to cross their minds. In fact, them cheating on you is compulsory. It is absolutely part of their modus operandi. It is a part of who they are and how they deal with the world and how they deal with people and how they deal with relationships. they have to have someone in the background. There's always someone in the background. There's always a spare boyfriend, a spare partner, a spare lover, a spare friend in the background. Always. And there's usually more than one, but there's at least one. Okay? There is always someone in the background that they are screwing you over with, that they are cheating on you with, that they are in a relationship with of such a nature that it is actually violating the relationship you have with them. And it is planned, it is deliberate, it is there for a reason, and I believe it is there for the plain simple reason that they always have a backup plan. They are literally 24/7, 365, literally ready to drop you in an instant, at the drop of a hat, so to speak, and leave for somebody else. Okay? And they know that they can drop you and they can leave you at the drop of a hat, because they already have replacements for you, and there will always be replacements for you. So it doesn't matter how close your friendship is, supposedly. It doesn't matter how close your relationship is, supposedly. It doesn't matter how much you think this person loves you, or how smitten they are with you, or, I mean, they can tell you that the sun shines out of your ass, and that the sun, moon, and stars, you know, are basically insignificant compared to you. But know for a fact, they will have at least one backup buddy, one backup lover, one backup boyfriend, one backup husband to replace you with in an instant. That is always there. It will always be in place. If that is not in place, they become uncomfortable. They become greatly uncomfortable because they cannot tolerate the potential fact that you might be the only person that they can rely on or exploit or use as a form of resource, as I've mentioned already in previous points. So they effectively always, without shame, without remorse, thought doesn't even cross their minds, have a replacement for you, have a backup for you. Okay? And the freaky thing is that there's sometimes they'll even tell you to your face, either directly or indirectly, that they are busy screwing you over, that they are busy literally violating your relationship or your friendship with this relationship with this other spare person or persons. It is there. It is undeniable. It is a fact. Okay? They always have backup people to replace you with in an instant. It matters not whether you got married yesterday or whether you guys have been together for 25 years and you just celebrated your 25th wedding anniversary. It doesn't matter whether you've known each other as best friends for 35 years. They are cheating on you with somebody else as you speak. All right? Without shame, without remorse. It is part of the strategy. It's part of the plan. It's part of the way they operate. It's the part of the way that they live. And I do believe it's because that they always have to be in an immediate position to throw you away, to discard you, as the psychologists and the professionals in the field of narcissistic personality disorder call it. They always have to be in a position where they can discard you at any time, any place, anywhere, and then feel safe that they can literally run into the arms or into the presence of somebody else and still be okay when it comes to gaining attention and resources, whether it be money, whether it be, status, whether it be whatever, control. They will have a backup plan for every single relationship and friendship that they have. There's always a backup, there's always a replacement. They're ready to throw you away in an instant, should they want to, should they need to, should they decide to. That is not normal. That is not good. That is very disturbing. Reason number 5 why I believe there is some dark force behind narcissistic personality disorder. These people are like social chameleons. They're social chameleons. You'll never really get to meet the real person behind the mask, behind the camouflage. Perhaps it would be best if you didn't. Sometimes the mask slips. Sometimes they slip up. Sometimes they get careless. Sometimes that switch happens and you get to see behind the mask, behind the camouflage, especially if you've known them for a while. And you need to give yourself time with these people. You need to give yourself time with these people. You need to give yourself time with all people. Because if you give people enough time with, if you give yourself enough time with that person, sooner or later, the social camouflage will somewhere slip. They'll get sick and they will let it slip. They'll get drunk or high and they will let it slip. They will get angry and they will let it slip. They'll be tired or hungry or, maybe be on their period or something, and they will let it slip. And then you'll start getting a view of what's really underneath this social camouflage. what's actually going on behind the scene. Because these people are brilliant social chameleons. They adapt and they change and they manipulate and they deceive, depending on the person in front of them. So they will never come across as having a solid, stable, legitimate, clear persona, so to speak. Most people you can go, oh, okay, John, John is introverted, he likes nature, he doesn't like noisy places and crowded places, and he really enjoys, figuring out puzzles. Most people you can do that after knowing them for a couple of minutes or maybe even a couple of hours. But you're going to have a hard time doing that with these people. These people blend into any situation, okay? They can blend into any situation. And it's because they become the thing that they think that you want to see, so that you automatically lower your defenses, you open up and become an empathetic person towards them, and you basically think that what is in front of you meets all the criteria that a good person should meet. They will make you believe anything they want you to believe, and you will swallow it like milk, like a baby sucking the milk out of a teat. All right, you will swallow it, and you'll be the happiest little camper that you think you could be. All right, and the reason why they are so believable is that they give you the thing that you actually want to see in that person. So let's say you meet this person and your mind says that, I wish I could meet this friendly, honest, true, really likable, down to earth person that enjoys nature and likes the outdoors. When they figured you out, and they will figure you out fast, they will give you exactly that. They will become the thing that they know that you would like to see in them. Whether they're that person or not is irrelevant. Okay, they will become the thing that you want to actually see in a person, depending on whatever the situation is. And you will literally be sucked in. All right, you will drop all your defenses. You will be completely comfortable around them. You will lay down all your defenses, and you will expose your core, your true persona, your real you to them, which makes it even more dangerous, because they will learn exactly what it is, who you are, and what makes you tick. All right, and they will be like a chameleon and turn into that thing that would literally allow you to drop all your defenses, all your reservations, all your sort of, let me first check this person out for a little while. They'll go fly by the wayside. It's literally like a Venus flytrap. You think you're going to be fed and that you're in the pound seat and that you've met the most amazing human being. But instead, you are actually going to get slowly eaten alive, and you won't even know it's happening. That is my definition of evil. Reason number 6. 4 of the 5 narcs that I knew were sexually deviant. What I mean by that is that they do not respect the sanctity of a normal, exclusive, monogamous relationship. They do not respect the sanctity of that. That to them is meaningless. It's irrelevant. It's probably even not a thought upon their minds. 3 of the 5 narcs that I knew had abnormal or destructive sexual tendencies. They don't partake in sex for the sake of growing closer to you or for normal human sexual pleasure or as an expression of their love for you. They don't partake in sex for that. Sex is simply an avenue for manipulating and gaining control of you. They will use sex to get you to do whatever they want you to do, or to get you to give them whatever it is that they want from you. Reason number 7, why NPD is not just a mental illness or a personality disorder. These people, they portray themselves as being people of the light, so to speak. They portray themselves as being spiritual, often being religious, as good people. They're good people, open-minded, and people that help others, being very altruistic and being philanthropists in what it is that they do around themselves. They moonlight as people of the light. Noteworthy, 4 of the 5 narcissists that I knew portrayed themselves as religious from a Christian standpoint. Only one thing I'd like to add to what I just said there is wolf in sheep's clothing. Reason number 8. Why I believe NPD has a big spiritual component to it. 2 of the 5 of the narcs that I knew, at least 2 that I was fully aware of, used a form of magic, spell casting, incantation, use of blessed or divine objects, and or traditional spiritual practices in order to protect themselves or to harm others. They call themselves Christian or religious, but they resort to spells and magic and occult type practices to protect themselves or to harm those that they seek to harm. They're never just satisfied with trusting in and praying to their God. It is impossible for them to pray to and trust in their God or gods. They always have to resort to adding something extra to that God or gods. Alright? And it is usually in the form of a spell or an incantation or an object or a substance that will give them protection or the ability to hurt somebody else. Or a combination of the above. It's very clear to see that these people do not believe and trust in the triune God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They always have to add something to him to get something done. There is no true trust in the true and living God. Reason number 9. They will use God's word and your beliefs against you. Specifically, they will use and misuse pieces of scripture against you if they know that you are a true believer. They're very attuned to honing in and focusing on people that are really devout, that are true believers, specifically of the Judeo-Christian God. And they will twist your beliefs in such a way to try to manipulate you or harm you or control you or deceive you in some way. And what I always find so interesting is that they never have an issue with Buddha. They never have an issue with Islam. They never have an issue with Judaism. They never have an issue with any form of belief system, except the one and only belief system of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That God they have lots of problems with. Ding, 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 ding. Big telltale sign number 9. Reason number 10. Narcissistic people attract one another, and they'll start helping each other to harm and destroy and lie and deceive and rob individuals. They help one another and they attract one another, and they have the same mindset and the same sort of modus operandi, and they will zone in on particular people and start manipulating them together. And the main modus operandi is to poison the minds of everyone that knows you and knows them in order to make you look evil, abusive, and criminal. And this is one of their main strategies. They'll try and smear your name and reputation in order to make themselves look like the victim and to make you look like the abuser, perpetrator, thief, criminal, or immoral and evil person. It's a little magic trick that they play. Well, it's not little, but it's a magic trick that they play where what they do is they reverse the roles of the thing that they are and the things that they've done to you. So they'll be abusing you and you'll be the victim, and they'll be doing these terrible things to you, and they will switch it all around and make you look like the abuser and them like the victim. That is like, it is like garden variety narcissistic personality disorder strategy number 1. If you see this happening, man, be sure that you're dealing with a NPD individual. The levels of deception, the levels of filth and evil and vile lies that these people are willing to tell and will tell with glee and with conviction and with a great ability to convince a large amount of people very quickly that you are actually an abuser as the victim and that they are being abused, meantime they are the abusers. It is absolutely mind-boggling how good they are at this. They are really good at it. They are really good at it. If you see this happening to you, man, you are dealing with NPD par excellence. Yeah, they love to play that game. They love to make themselves look like innocent little doves that have been turned into terrible little victims by this terrible person, and to make you, who is actually the person that has been badly abused on a number of levels, look like the evil one. This is classic, okay? Classic. Reason number 11 why I believe narcissistic personality disorder is spiritual in nature is the following. They wish to destroy you in totality. Alright? They are not just happy with, doing harm and then getting out of the situation and moving on with their lives. Or they're not just happy with doing harm and then as soon as they get the chance to escape the relationship, they go on and they do carry on with their own little lives as they purport to want to do, because you're abusive and whatever the case may be. They will want to destroy you and destroy you in totality. Okay. Now, yes, okay, I suppose we can all get together and agree as clever people in the humanities or whatever the case may be, that these people are damaged. The fact that they are damaged is clear, all right? It's bright as day. Yes, they are damaged. Okay, they are very damaged. And yes, I suppose that they have been neglected as children. Okay, and they've been neglected as children. I wasn't there, but that's what the clever people tell us. Okay, and that's why they became like this. You know what? I can buy the damaged, and I can even buy they were neglected as children, and that's why they are like they are. But I'm sorry, but I cannot just sit there and swallow that and be okay with it, okay? Because these people will want to destroy you in totality. Usually when a normal person, hurts somebody else, let's say in the name of self-defense, okay? Most people will hurt the other person until they gain an opportunity to escape the situation, and then they will flee and it will leave the person in a semi-damaged state and not carry on damaging them any further. Alright? But these people are not like this. These people are out for total annihilation. They want to completely, totally and utterly destroy you on every level. Physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, you name it. They want to annihilate you. That's way worse than just, defending myself or trying to escape a bad situation. I'm sorry, but that kind of extreme desire and drive to obliterate, annihilate, and wipe that person off the face of the earth in every way that they possibly can, that is not damaged. Okay? Being neglected by mommy and daddy does not explain that. What explains that to me, alright, is evil. That is not damaged. That is evil. You can go and slice it any which way and how you can. But if you have experienced what these people are like and what they are capable of, they're not just damaged, and they weren't just neglected by mommy and daddy. They probably were, alright? I will agree that maybe they were. I can see that. There's a possibility. But man, the intense lust for destruction of another human being, I'm sorry, neglect does not explain that. Evil explains that. Reason number 12. They are incapable of a normal, natural, honest, true relationship. Any form of so-called relationship they supposedly have with you or develop with you is not actually a true relationship. They will get you to believe that you are in a real and true and meaningful relationship, but it's all a lie. That's built so that they can extract something from you. And that's why they can simply, at a drop of a hat, as I've mentioned before, turn around in an instant and disappear. And you won't hear from them again. And it's because they are always ready to jump ship from one relationship to another or from one friendship to another. Remember, they got backups, right? They got backup boyfriends, backup partners, backup friends. So that they are literally always on the ready 100% to throw you away and just to replace you. They are like a parasite, and when you start turning off, when they've sucked you dry, or when they've annihilated you, or when you start figuring out what's going on and you start turning off the taps to your emotions and to your resources and to your free manual labor and to your emotions and to your soul and to your heart, then they get hungry very fast. And you know what they do? They just jump from one host onto the next, just like a parasite. That is the antithesis of a relationship, all right? I mean, if you think about it, why did God create the universe and us in it? God doesn't need anything. He doesn't need anyone. He's always been here, and he's always going to be here. He doesn't need anything or anyone. But he created the universe and he created man. Why? The answer is simple. He wanted a relationship. All right? Okay? But that which I've just described to you now is not a relationship. That is a parasitic situation. That is the antithesis of a relationship. And the antithesis of a relationship is anything that is other than how God made it. And what is other than how God made it is, of the devil. It's evil. It's evil. It's just, there's no other conclusion that you can come to other than these people are influenced by the dark side of the spiritual spectrum. Okay? Point number 14. Why I believe NPD is spiritual in nature, to a large extent anyway. These people are attracted to individuals with a high degree of empathy. And what I've also started to see now, also with generally a true spiritual relationship with the triune God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I need to point that out to other Christian men and women, okay? Narcissistic people are attracted to people with a high degree of empathy and are attracted to people who are true believers in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Why? Okay? Firstly, being a true believer in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob generally turns you into a very empathetic person. And these people see that as a point of weakness. Alright? They like empathetic people. They're attracted to empathetic people. Why? Because they see you as a sitting duck. Alright? You are literally an easy target for them. You're an easy target. Because they know that they can just chameleon themselves into something that you think is good. And you will drop your guard, you will open them up, you will welcome them with open arms and allow them into your life. And they will slowly begin the process of manipulation, deceit, and whatever else is that they need to do in order to get something from you. Whether that thing that they want is attention or validation or control or resources or money or whatever it is, status, I don't know, okay. The thing that they want, they will come and get from you because you're a sitting duck as an empathetic person. But the other aspect to this is they also see you as a true believer as having something that they do not have. Because in fact, they are devoid, they are empty inside, all right? They are empty inside, and if there is something in the inside, then it is clear from the points that I've made here, all right, at least to me, you can make up your own mind, you can do your own research, you can go and start your own relationship with a narcissistic person, all right, and figure this out for yourself, all by yourself. But these people are empty and devoid of anything good, all right? And when they see what you have, all right, which is not of yourself, okay? This is not of me. Being a believer is not of me. I did not become a believer because I, figured out a 2 + 2 = 4 mathematical problem, or, my parents convinced me, or whatever the case may be. No. God chose me, all right? And he came to live inside of me, all right? It's not something of me. And the light that anyone might see in my life, the empathy that I might display to people out there at some point, has absolutely nothing to do with my own goodness or my own superiority or my own anything, okay? It is absolutely, totally and utterly a product of the living God, all right, dwelling within me. Anything good that I am and have done and maybe will do, all right, and that people might see has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the one that lives inside of me and has chosen me. They see that. They see that like a lighthouse, all right? From far away, they see it and they're attracted to it like a moth to the flame. They want it. They're fascinated about it. They wish they could have it. and they come seeking for it, and they will climb into your life to try and figure out what it is and to try and get it, because they don't have it, because they are hungry. Okay, they're spiritually hungry people. They're starving on the inside spiritually, from being spiritually bankrupt. Okay, just like most of the world. But these people are hungry for what it is that they see in believers, and they come and they want to find out what it is, and they want it, and they're attracted to you for it, and they will climb into your life to try and get it. And when they realize that it is not something that you can just take or get, or something that you can just, manipulate out of somebody, or con out of somebody, or fool out of somebody, or steal out of somebody, when they start to see that this is something that is different, this is divine, this is supernatural, they start to despise you. All right, they start to despise you like someone would despise you. Let's say I go out and I buy myself a BMW, right? Brand new BMW, and I come home and I park it in the street in front of my house, and I call all the people in the neighborhood and go, oh, look what I have, I got a new BMW. People will be happy for me for half an hour, all right? They go, oh, yes, it's cool, yeah, we'll go drive around the block and everything, and we'll play music on the radio, and people, be fiddling with the leather seats and opening up things and scratching around and whatever, and going, wow, man, it's a cool car, They'll do that for half an hour. And then they will slowly start to despise me because I have something that they don't have. It's the exact same thing when it comes to these people. They want what you've got, but they are not willing to do what it takes to get it, because in order to get what the thing that they want, they have to actually acknowledge the living God. They have to actually acknowledge that He exists. They have to actually acknowledge that they are in a subservient, submissive position to something or someone else. All right? These people cannot submit, man. These people cannot submit. All right? These people will not submit to anything good or spiritual or true. All right? They are literally fighting against it. They are running away from it. It is anathema to them. Okay? And when they realize that what they want and what they see inside of you and what they so deeply would like to have, and that they don't have it, when they realize what the source of it is, it'll be literally like a vampire turning away from the rising sun. Okay? They will try and destroy you for it. You as a Christian man or as a Christian woman needs to know this. All right? Because us Christians are sitting ducks because of the empathy that it creates within us, and that is the easiest avenue into your soul, and they will exploit it to the maximum to get whatever it is that they want to get. And the thing that they want the most, they will eventually realize that they can't get it unless they submit to the living God, and they will not be prepared to do that, and therefore they will try and destroy you. Bottom line. That is my number one reason why I believe narcissistic personality disorder is largely a spiritual problem as opposed to a personality or mental illness problem. I would just lastly like to add the last thing, which I will close with, which will also, unfortunately for them, put the nail in the coffin. No one forces these people to lie to you. No one forces these people to see you as a resource as opposed to a human being. No one forces them to deceive you. No one forces them to throw you away. No one forces them to throw their children away. No one forces them to be unfaithful to you and to cheat on you. No one forces them to rob you. No one forces them to abuse you. No one forces them to defame and devalue you. No one forces them to exploit you. No one forces them to reject God and His Word. No one forces them to choose material things over spiritual things. They choose to lie to you. They choose to deceive you. They choose to cheat on you and be unfaithful to you. They choose to manipulate you. They choose to defame you and discard you. They choose to exploit you. They choose to reject and deny and to run away from the Word of God and His knocking upon their hearts. Because I know for a fact that God does knock on their hearts, okay? God knocks on their heart all the time. And you know what? They choose to basically give Him a big fat, okay, every single day of their lives. No one forces them to do any of these terrible things and these wicked things at all. They choose to do those things to you and to others and to themselves and to one another. That has got nothing to do with having a personality disorder, and that has got absolutely nothing to do with you being neglected as a child. All right? That is a choice that you make to reject what is good and right and true and holy. Sorry, not a mental illness, not a personality disorder. It's garden variety evil. I'm going to attach a whole bunch of links down in the comments section. Go have a look at that. That'll get you started. If you want to subscribe and like and whatever the case may be, you're welcome to do that or not. But go and educate yourself. And it just gets way weirder from there.